reading the monologue and then having this opportunity or this open field and to create a song out of that. Please tell me, where do you start, buddy? Like, honestly, mate, like I've got the email here originally that we had together, and I'm going to look at the date if I can, scroll up a little bit.
Yeah.
The date that was the 11th of January 2022.
Oof.
You know what I mean? Where you sent me an email that was a very strong breakdown of the actual monologue, and then you're dissecting it to actually write a song to. This to me is like a historical, you know what I mean? It's something that I will keep and keep as the way in which that artist mind works. How does your mind work, Evan Brodsky? How does your mind work, the Prophet?
Well, it's funny because it's like one of those things where you can't force creativity.
Yeah.
But you can either catch something that, it's just the right fit and it just takes off, or you can, know that there's a deadline and not trying to force creativity, but nurture an environment to, that can breed creativity. And so, being stuck in lockdown and all that stuff, it's hard to be inspired because you've been, sitting in your house trying to figure out how to homeschool your kids and all this stuff. But like I said, I just fell so in love with it. And when I read the original script for the short film, I don't know, the process for me was just really getting to know this character. And like I said, it's one of those things where even though it's a theoretical character in this monologue, I have had the honor of journeying alongside different people in very different walks of life. So, I could really relate to this young guy and what he was going through and, what had happened to his mother in the original script, and almost put myself in a position of, okay, what would this person be thinking? What would the conversations be like? Idea of what's in the headphones while this guy's
exactly. I was thinking exactly the same thing just there.
Exercising. So it's like, giving a narrative to what's happening. But I don't know. I got this, and I'm not usually like this either too. But I got like full on like Rain Man on. I think I color coded it, and I was like, this color represents stuff that's like directly from the script. This color represents something that's happened in the story already, and this color is stuff that
it's beautiful,
speaking to the young guy. And I think it was just one of those things that just once it started rolling, there was no stopping it. And I love being in that zone because that's what I feel really free. And as I mentioned too, I was gleaning from some of my own experiences, my own thoughts from different seasons in life where I could really relate to that character who has got so much going on behind the mask, so much going on behind the persona of this person that's reliable and strong and actively doing all these things, but quietly on the inside has some stuff going on. And I could really relate to that because as I mentioned, it's been some seasons of my own journey where that's been a pretty big battle. And so having the humility to and vulnerability too to set up, trying to enter this to have the answers, but to just start a conversation and to give a sound to the visuals that's coming together. And I think we've bounced off each other really well with that.
Oh, 100%. There's so many questions I want to ask you right now, but I want to spread them out a little bit. Like just looking at the lyrics here, even if we just look at the first sort of set, you've got verse 1, a new dawn rises to pound at the door, wondering if you got to dream or just drown in your thoughts. Wishing last night provided space to lay it to rest. Now you struggle just to rise from the weight on your chest. and you put NB waking up, struggling to face the day and the weight of the thoughts, etc., from last night's exchange with the father and other issues. Like, yeah, I get goosebumps, mate. Honestly, Evan. And like when I keep on saying this to everyone. The song was so inspiring to work the music video. You know, when I was doing the rough edit, I listened to your. As a catalyst to all of this. Your song was the purpose for me to finish this whole project too. Hearing your lyrics, if I could just put that as a side note. Then the next section, Evan, you write restless nights, so restless, right? And stress gets the best of your excess pride. Try to clear your thoughts. Another message displays on the screen that'll drag you back, affecting your brain. Like, they're just such visual and such like on the like, you nail exactly. And because we're targeting a youth market, but it was very much the fact of being older. You can still see how that has a ripple effect through generations. You know what I'm saying? And that was inspired from one of the characters within the original monologue. Now you're facing the day feeling less than patient with the fakeness to live up. I can't help but do the rhythm.
Oh, this is awesome. You should be rapping, isn't
it? Want to run from the problems, but unless you face it, it'll drag you down deeper. So you best embrace it. Like, this was the thing that we spoke about, and the inner monologue, the sense of it being in the headphones, is we wanted the piece to not be patronizing, to not condescend. It had to have that hope and that sense of your own self-empowerment and finding a solution within yourself, let alone the world around you, and to be witness to that and to be open to that too. So it just, you started so, you know, that first stone was thrown, and then it just started to ripple through, and that's how it helped the whole creative process. Like, and you said here that was wearing the mask and trying to live up to the persona he has established and expectations. Also the running metaphor from problems, because we were starting with this sense of running movement, this continuous, you know, keep on moving forward. And that echoed with conversations that I was having with Moira very much. And so this is the chorus. Like, this to me, I feel like I'm saying this back to the man that wrote it.
No, this is great.
So imagine how it feels to remove that mask, rediscovering the passion to redo that task, picking up the pieces, rebuild that heart. Imagine all the obstacles move to renew that path. Like, there is so many components in which I think you can latch on to the sense of, okay, if I just maybe do one small thing to make a change and a difference, and allow myself to maybe imagine a different perspective here of where I'm sitting at. How does that sit? Even hearing it now again, Evan, how does that sit with you, mate? Like, you probably it changes. It's so universal.
Yeah, and I love that, you know, because the first part of it, it's how a lot of people, you know, start the day when you have a rough time. It's like, just trying to get up out of bed, you slept, all this stuff. And then, you know, turn your phone and you see a message or something that drags you back into that mind frame. And then you're facing the day, your energy's nearly done. So it was all that real kind of picture, but that real empowering 4 bars there, you know. Imagine how it feels to remove that mask, you know, to just be free and go, I don't need to pretend, you know. It's like, I can just be real what's going on. Imagine it feels to remove that mask, rediscovering the passion to redo that task, you know, just going, I can give it another crack, you know what I mean? What was the third line that
picking up the pieces to rebuild that heart.
Imagine all the obstacles moved. Imagine all the obstacles moved to, what was it like? The path.
You renew that path.
To renew that path. Really, that was, very much speaking to myself a little bit on on that one. It was like, yeah, I think having that freedom to go, okay, what would things look like if I started taking action to move forward on this? What would things look like if I fell back in love with the things that bring me joy because I haven't felt it in a while?
Yep.
What would it feel like to feel the freedom of not having to pretend that I've got it all together? And yeah, I really hope that was, like I said, I was speaking myself on that bit, but I hope that's something that came across
You were
empowering
speaking to yourself
to
there
someone a little bit.
Well, you've repeated you've said that a few times, mate. And if
Yeah.
you know, obviously, I'm always a bit interested in the actual person I am talking to, buddy. Like,
Yeah.
is that something you would like to sort of what was it? What was going on for you? What did go on, and where? Like, obviously, you're talking to me now, man. So that just says everything. Are you able to let us in a little bit into that rebuilding? What were the pieces that you needed to rebuild, mate? If you're able to, let
Yeah.
us in.
So for me, as I mentioned, I had different seasons of weaving in and out of some mental health stuff, and some of the peaks and valleys that come with that. And obviously, as you're aware, if you're a creative person, you're prone to have a bit more compassion or empathy, or that you're a bit more of an emotional being. And so as I mentioned earlier, juggling so many things in life that were very much pouring out to others. When you get a bit older, you don't have as much fuel in the tank, so to speak, to sustain that. And so when a season came that was a bit of a low, I was still, like I said, at a very high capacity situation with a lot of things I was doing, and was just running on empty for a bit too long, and hit burnout pretty hard, which happens to a lot of people, especially if you're working in different spaces where you're helping others or you're in the community. And I think it's a bit of a perfect storm if you've hit burnout, but you're also battling with some mental health stuff as well, and then the stresses that come along with, all of a sudden you're homeschooling kids, you're stuck in your house. It's like, so without going into too much detail, from I guess 2020 till now has been a season of that rebuilding and falling back in love with things again, finding that passion, finding the joy, and having the courage to seek support and get the right tools around my own mental health journey, which has been a very tough few years, but a very necessary one to get those tools to rebuild the things, to fall back in love with some stuff, and to
What was the one thing that really crystallized that shift in gear for you? What was, if you were to, let us into the fact of just something that really, like, if it was a moment, an event, something someone said, or what was the thing that just was the catalyst of like, I've got to change my thought pattern here? Was there something in particular?
Yeah,
or
there was
a few things together that just made you realize, I got to stay.
Yeah. Well, there was two catalysts. One was one that was, it sounds like a negative one, but it was very necessary. And the other was,
Evan. Say that again.
So there was two catalysts in that journey. One sounds like it's a bit more of a negative, get down, but it was necessary, and the other was the opposite. And so the first catalyst was that removing the mask to myself, being honest with myself, and because I always, like a lot of places, especially in my age bracket, push a lot of stuff down and just get on with it. You know what I mean? But when you've surpassed, that burnout phase, and you're just running on empty and stuff, I one time just in that restless nights, because I've been resting less, right? Had finally admitted to myself, and I don't remember if I said it out loud or just internally, but I'm saying, I can't do this anymore. I can't, it's too much. And saying that and admitting that to myself, it's like all the walls came down and everything came flooding in. A lot of the things that I needed to work on internally, some things that I had pushed to the side, and then just admitting that, okay, I'm not strong enough to carry all this alone. And so that was a very intense situation. I'm talking about it now pretty, candidly and a bit, just whatever. But, at the time that was an intense moment. And everything came flooding in, and it was like, I need to get help. I've been driving down the road, the check engine light is on. I've ignored it, and now the car's broken down. I've got no reception on my phone. I need help. And so that was the catalyst to say, I need to do that. And then the next one was having some key people around. Like, obviously, you go to the right places you need to, seek some help, professional help, medical, whatever. But having the right type of people around that are pouring into you and understand. And it's funny because you're never too old to have that mentor figure or that, that uncle figure or that brother figure or whatever, and people that still see your potential beyond your situation, people that can see, that you've still got so much to offer after you've put in that work on yourself, and that it's totally okay to not be present at everything and to just take a break and take some time to focus on self, focus on family, focus on what you need to. And I think,
people can see that potential beyond your situation, and then you yourself can see that. I think that is one of the key components, because because thank you so much, Evan, for this is because it's hard, because your voice starts to break, and that's when you get to, we all crave that when someone does allow us in, and that sense of that vulnerability, and just expose their truth, and it's not easy. It's so not easy to do that. And I was listening to some podcasts recently, and there's a lot of layers of paint that we have as that mask. It's not just one layer of a mask. It's many years of a layer of paint with that. So that's something it stuck with me when I was listening to a particular podcast recently.